course, a very warm welcome. As I said, we had yesterday International Women's Day, and I asked Pari to present a very short presentation to this event. Perhaps you know all that this day has a long tradition. It has a background in the years of the last century. It's in the 1908. It was the first, how to say, movement. It was in America and in New York City, and women marched through the city to ask shorter hours, better pay, and voting rights. This was the first time that women really stood up and stayed for their rights. Then in 1910, Clara Zetkin, a German activist, proposed the idea of an International Women's Day at the International Socialist Women's Conference in Copenhagen in Denmark. And this proposal had been accepted, and the first International Women's Day was celebrated in March 1911 in Austria, Denmark, Germany, Switzerland. But then this day was very important in the history of Russia, because in Russia, women raised up and contributed to the Russian, breakdown of the system and to create a new form of it called communism. But then in more and more countries, the Women's Day was celebrated, but always for the same reason. It's for women's right, for equality, and for empowerment, and other very important themes, but it was depending also of the country, and so it's a little bit celebrated for theme, but also for traditions differently in different countries. But what can we say? Why this International Women's Day, IWD, is so important? It's first to recognize women's achievements, because until then, in science, politics, business, education, sports, and so on, it was not seen. Women made a lot of work and a big contribution in these sectors, but it was not seen. And so this day is also up today promoting gender equality. It was, and it is, in a lot of countries, the fact that there is existing an unequal pay and a lack of opportunities. And women still face discrimination. And this day help raise awareness and push for equal rights. But this day must also remember that we have to empower women and girls, because in education, careers, and leadership roles, there is a lot to do, even if we are more advanced as we had been at the beginning. But nevertheless, you know all, and we will hear this evening about. Then highlighting women's rights issues. In Europe, we have some or a lot of rights, but there are a lot of countries where these rights are not existing. Lack of access to education and healthcare and so on. And so also existing violence against women. And we must ask and promote and stand up for to guarantee highlight women's right issues. But also on a very personal level, it's so important to encourage support for everyone, every woman, but also including men, for a gender equality, to challenge stereotypes and to create a fair society. And for this reason, also, this day is celebrating diversity and inclusion. And in the last year, it's more and more linked also with this both themes, diversity and inclusion. And you know that in some of our countries, this inclusion is not given. And that people who are living diversity are primed. And so this is also, they have also an extra day for their rights, fighting for their rights, but we have also to think about on Women's Day. And last not least, we have to inspire the next generation in female roles in the 19th, in the 17th, 18th, and 19th. A lot of women had been very aware that we have to make events, marches, and discussions on gender equality. Today, a lot of young generation, young women think that all is okay. But this is not the case, we will hear today. And so we have to inspire the next generation really to stand up for equality, for same rights for men and women and the third gender, and that we have to take attention now more than 10 years or 20 years ago, because we are losing rights. And so we will hear about also this evening. So we will have now some, how to say, presentations to give us an insight in view. And it will start with Dana. Welcome, Dana. You are coming from Craiova.
Thank
You
you
are
very much.
professor for mathematics in Craiova at the university, and you have to say a lot about the role of women in science, and especially in science. So let us hear.
Uh, Thank you very much. It's a very good opportunity to discuss about the role of women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I prepared a very detailed presentation, which can be found on the website of our meeting association. And I will speak just a little bit about what was writing on these slides. So STEM, it means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, is considered a driving force in modern innovation because scientists make systematic studies, build hypotheses, predict natural phenomena, and technology refers to practical applications of scientific knowledge. Engineering refers to designing, to implementing, to maintaining systems based on scientific principles. And mathematics, last but not least, lays on as the foundation for many STEM disciplines, provide tools to create models, solve practical problems, and so on. So careers in STEM are considered the jobs of the future. They are driving innovation. They are very important for the social well-being and for the financial independence of people. In the next slide, I presented the factors contributed to the gender gap in STEM and some strategies for closing the gap from childhood to career advancement. Please, yes, this is the next slide. So you see only 33% of STEM graduates are women, and 20%, 1 on 5, are graduate in ICT. It means information communication technology. This is a gender disparity which is alarming because the reasons I spoke about. There are some factors for making this gender gap effective. Next slide, please. Yes, we speak here about only social factors, and there are, of course, some strategies for closing this gap. They are presented in the next slide. But what I want to speak about is how to work to attract to STEM girls and young women. I want to present you a case study. It is about a Romanian group, and this is the next slide, maybe the next slide. This is a Romanian Women in Mathematics. The Romanian Women in Mathematics is a network which was created in 2020 by six mathematicians, women mathematicians from five universities in Romania and one university from Austria. In this moment, we are around 50 persons from 24 academic institutions, 22 of them in Romania and two from abroad. The aim of this network is to bring together the mathematicians, to provide a support, an environment where they can exchange ideas and they can obtain some information about the career. There are some strategies that we apply for this, and this is a last slide, please. In order to encourage the girls to have a STEM education and apply for this, we have activities in school since primary to high school level. We support the preparation for scientific competitions, for example. In order to promote the female role models, we organize meetings with important women mathematicians. Most of them, we provide professional development opportunities, and main of this is the information. We support the students, the girls to participate to competitions. We support the young researchers to participate to conferences. We address structural barriers. We mean that we give personalized support to people to overcome some obstacle related to professional development. This is woman to woman activity. And last but not least, we encourage women to stay in STEM careers. We present regularly the career opportunities and we inform the girls, all students, of course, about the possibilities to have a career in STEM. We organize monthly a seminar called Mathematics and Life. So not only mathematics, not only life, but mathematics and life. And this is our contribution to encourage the young ladies to have a STEM career. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dana, for this insight from a person who is well knowing the reality by the everyday work and life. And I would like to ask shortly if you have the same impressions, the same facts in your countries, or what's about STEM in your countries? Emily, you are also prof of math. How is the case in Bulgaria? Shortly, please let us know. Emily?
I see.
Yes, no.
This is how to say secret problems. Not officially, but step by step, it is going against to women in engineering, in science. All the time, men are on the leader positions, and if there are concourse or competition, not for women. So officially not. Officially there are many. Bulgaria is how to say has got many women in informatics. It is one of the first places for this in international search. So many women are in informatics, also in mathematics. But if we are speaking about professional development or professional opportunities, officially not.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Not give opportunities. So maybe there are Bulgarians in your in your group, maybe not, but this is the situation.
Thank you, Emily. It's interesting to hear that you have the same problems, but how to say, officially is not the case. So it makes us known that shivers. So it's difficult sometimes what we have to think and what we have to believe. Other commentaries, Dujana, shortly.
Yes, I've got a short, a short remark. The fact that women do not participate that much in the STEM, as you say, I think it's quite normal. It's a product of the long socialization process. Uh, and then whenever we get an area of activities in society which is praised or at the top at the moment, women have a tendency to be excluded. There is this tendency. And they are pushed to the sectors which are less paid and less, shall we say, less praised or less recognized in a given social time and social
Mhm.
situation.
I
But
think it's a little
I
bit the
I would
case.
like to remark that Dana, how to say,
hope.
give us information for research for many words for many thinking. Thank you very much, Dana. And for example, our rector, for the first time, maybe I don't know another university, for the first time, our rector is new one, and it is woman. She is an engineer, but this is only one in Bulgaria. So
Mhm.
our university have never have woman, and this is from some days. It started some days ago. So Dana is right that these areas are not with good positions for women. Thank you, Dana.
Hmm. I think it's a little bit the case in all countries that it's changing, but these changes are so slowly made. It's so step by step. And careers in Germany now we make a lot. We make for pupils, for women, for girls, we make girls' days in STEM. And that's very fine because so they are between themselves and there are a lot of studies that boys are more engaged because they are more pushed in education, and if girls are only between them, girls making some STEM advance, as you say, for also for your education programs, they are pushed to do it. but nevertheless, it's a big difference in most of our countries. So we have a lot to do. But thank you for your presentation, Dana, and for this insight. And I think this is a theme we should continue to discuss. But now I will ask Ivanka to give us a very nice, how to say, not only presentation, but a very nice input by a song she prepared to sing. And it's named I Am a
A
Woman.
sam zemja, a sam sila i nežnost, vjarna sleda, sred prostora bezbrežen, bjala breza, nedostignata ptica, tvojte jasni zejnici se ogležda sveta, a sam prosto žena, Valjana Marija, plaha krotka srna, uraganna stihija, a sam radost i plod, svoboda i pobeda, a zdarjavam život, a sam zov i nadežda. La 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 la, la 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 la. La 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 la, la 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 la. Prosto žena, Valjda Anna Marija, plaha krotka srna, uraganna stihija, mnogo pesmi ispjah, mnogo maka isplakah, ljubav ta odstojav, a sumeja da čakam.
Oh, thank you very much, Ivanka. A strong woman
Bravo, bravo, bravo.
sang a song about a strong woman. So that's very fine. Thank you very much. Now I will see. I saw our friend Rosemarie Kurz. She is in or not? Ah, Rosemarie, you are in. So
Yes,
it's very
I am in.
fine. A very warm
Yeah.
welcome. Rosemarie is coming from Austria, and she wrote
Yes,
us a
I'm the
lot of
only one
very
from Austria.
yeah, a lot of things about women's conditions. And I wrote to her, especially for older women, we have to make a special session because it was full of ideas. But nevertheless, in the to focus a little bit,
Yes.
I asked her to give us some answers. And Rosemary is very impressed by Lotte Huber. She is a famous German artist, and if you have a look in the website, you will see she had been extraordinary. But our Rosemary is also extraordinary. How old you are now, Rosemary?
In 2 months' time, I'm going to be 89, so close to 90 years old.
Yes. And she is very engaged in mind. You had problems physically. I hope you overcome a little bit, but she is very. And my question is, Lotte Huber, but also you told always that you are not old, that you are older, but in the middle of life, even if you are 86 or 89. How do you feel personally about aging? And what does it mean for you to embrace this phase of life? Rosemary, tell us.
I can't, yeah, yes, I tell you. On one side is the body state, and that's, of course, getting high age. It's always full of surprise, more negative surprise than positive surprise. But the positive surprise is that I have to cope with it. At the moment, I have Baker-Zyste that's in the knee on the back side, kind of a lump, you know. It's hurting and it's makes me hard in walking. You know, I like to walk every day 10,000 steps because I want to stay healthy. And now this new illness says, don't go 10,000 steps on one. Go and I have my grandson is at the moment living with me. We are having a baby, yeah. He up my illness, and he said today to me, take small steps and not too long in a session, yeah, and then take a rest again. And so I can have to divide my walking in 3 times: morning, lunchtime, evening. So this is the one side. The other side is that, of course, kind of dementia is kind of visiting me, yeah. And I'm working on my laptop. I'm sitting here in front of you with all the equipment I have to have, you know. And so it's always very exciting doing even small jobs on the thing. I always have to have a piece of paper, write one word, then go on in the next time. You know, it's always very, very hard work. And on this is the second, and the third thing is very nice and amusing. Again, uh, two jobs. One job is at the biggest geriatric hospital. There I can have once a month something a small study, and the word for it is wisdom. We may miss them train, you know. Wisdom is not just here, you know, all the time. You can revive it in your head. And I have a couple of people who like this session, and they come every month. And the second is an artist walk through Veranstaltungen, yeah.
Events.
Good. And so being old is one part of my life, and living is the other one. And living is just fun again. And it's fun. It's hard, but it's fun. And it doesn't count. I don't count the years. I just live, you know. I just try to stay alive. That's all.
That's very fine. And
your answer? Is it an answer?
It's impersonating, Rosemarie. Rosemarie, today we are speaking and we are remembering the 8th of March as International Women's Day. And you are getting older but fresh in mind, and you have a long way you followed and made a lot of experiences. What do you wish women of all ages, old and young, what we have to do in your mind, and what, how to say, what you should say to young especially, what they have to do for to be getting older as you are, fresh in mind and open for a lot of things?
It is hard to give one solution to your work, to your question, because life is so full of different possibilities for each woman. So I can tell you, when I was 42, I left the father of my 2 children, and I started a completely new life of my own. And this was the best solution I did, because I started with 42 being the woman I really was. Before I was a well-trained girl, you know. Then I was a very sufficient wife. I tried to be kind of a good mother. Don't know what a good mother is really, you know. We make just so many things about it. Raising children is just a task. We do it with all our heart and how we can do it. But on these two things, no, there is another part in myself and in you, and this part has the right to grow and to come out and to make things, and so to make the world a little bit nicer, better, according to the wishes of women. And you only have to do it, just do it. So I have, when I was 50, I had a very big European project, and it was called Changing the Third Age. It was just for women. It was just for 50 plus women. And here I could train the women who came to me to take serious the word participation in society. Participation in society means to stand up and to make the world where you live a little bit like you like, that you want that this world would be, that you like to change it. You can do it in very small parts. Just look around where you live and where you do your things and say, oh, here I want to change something. And then you do it. Just do it. And as you see that I'm still alive with nearly 90, you know, and it was my inside wish to participate, to make life in my area around a little bit like I wanted the world to be. Is it good, Carmen?
Thank you, Rosemarie. It's so encouraging to hear you. And I hope for a long time you will be a part of our community and encourage us as you do it for yourself, and especially also younger girls, and also, as we heard, women of not old, but in the middle of their life, and that we can change the way, change our traits also when we are 40 or 50 and every time. Thank you very much. And I think we
But I
will
must
hear
say
about you.
something more. Yeah, I have two children. They are close to 60, and I have 6 grandchildren between 20 and 30, and they are full in life, and they, at the moment, are very hard up with the climate and what we don't do for the climate. And so I say, if we always have to be in middle of society and hear the things the younger people are living for or get in very hard time. And I'm so happy to be with you, looking here around in all your faces of different age. I thank you that I am allowed to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemarie. I think we are all very impressed about your power and about your wisdom, and be with us and join us also in the next years.
And Professor Kurz, I remember the last time you said every time is our time. Every time is our time, and I really appreciate it, because there are no times of different generations. Time belongs to us. It's our time. Thank you very much for this inspiration.
And thank you, Dushana, for remembering us. This is very important.
Yeah, I have I have used it as a title of one of my articles.
How fine. Very fine. So thank you. And I will ask now Katarina to sing us a Ukraine song. And perhaps, Katarina, you can tell us about what you are singing.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
As nowadays it's quite a hard time for Ukraine, but I have chosen a song that is about love, about a girl and a boy that want to go out together, and they're a little bit like two trees that are strong, but they're strong together. And for all strong women and strong men of Ukraine, I will sing this song. Ой на горі два дубки, ой на горі два дубки, ой на горі два дубки схилилися до кубки. Вітер дуба хитає, вітер дуба хитає, вітер дуба хитає, хитає, козак дівку питає. Ой, дівчино, чия ти, ой, дівчино, чия ти, ой, дівчино, чия ти, чи вийдеш ти гуляти? А я батька один син, а я батька один син, а я в батька один син, погуляти хоч би з ким. А я донька мамчина, а я донька мамчина, а я донька мамчина, мамчина, цілуватись навчена. Ой на горі два дубки, ой на горі два дубки, ой на горі два дубки, стоять як то голубки.
Thank you, Katarina. It was so nice to hear your voice, your nice voice, and to know that you are singing this song for a lot of strong Ukrainian women. We are not speaking this evening about Ukraine, but we all know that for them in this moment it's especially difficult and that they need a lot of courage and hope. And so we will give to you for them and for all we know a lot of good wishes and that you will have, how to say, the end of this terrible war by conditions you can accept and the support of the Europeans to your country.
Thank you, Carmen. Thank you, everyone, for listening to me and for the support that you are giving.
Now we will go over to another aspect, very important aspect of Women's History and Women's Day, because there had been strong women to fight for rights which are for us in our everyday life normal, which is in the European countries, not in some others. But it was not very easy to do it. But also now we need strong women to stand up in all our countries. And Sabine Geller, a very warm welcome, because she worked in her project with other strong women to remember this first, how to say, strong women fighting for our rights, but also collecting impressions and also informations about strong women today along the Danube. A very warm welcome, Sabine.
Thank you,
I
Carmen.
think a lot of you know your journal. You have it on, you can show
Yes.
it once more. It's
This is the magazine
Danube
we were
Connects, and it's
doing.
how you had the idea to make this wonderful journal.
Oh, it started a long time ago, 2008. I was joining a conference about the Danube in our hometown in Ulm, and I thought there are so many interesting corporations and projects, and it would be nice to tell people more about these positive aspects of the Danube countries. Also to encourage people to work together.
And how many how to say
Editions?
Ausgaben, how to say
Edition?
edition, thanks.
Yes, we do twice a year.
And the special interesting thing is that one part of this edition is in German and one in English.
Yes,
So,
one side is German, and if you turn it around, it's then English.
and it's always a theme, but also a lot of very interesting informations about what is going on along the Danube. So if you have the possibility, read it, and you have it also by internet. I
Yes.
think you don't need to have a print version. You can also read this journal online.
Can
But
you
now,
give the
yes,
link? Can you give the link on chat?
I will send it in the
Okay,
chat
okay.
later, okay?
this would be
Okay.
fine.
Yes.
But now this is one part of your activities, but another part had been in the frame of a very interesting project to research about strong women in the history and also up to date, and to make a good presentation. Let us go in a little bit. It's
Yes.
a big thing, but to have
Yes.
give some inspirations.
Yeah, let me start how it began with our project. I had a colleague in Austria, Christiana Weidel. She is working for World of NGOs there. And we visited a lot of conferences, political and civil society conferences along the Danube. And we recognized that always the men are sitting on the podium. And so we decided, let's make a book or a project and give the women more visibility. And then we choose first 5 cities, and later on we had 8 cities with partners and our project partners in these cities. For example, in Romania, it is a pro-democracy association, and in Austria, we had the World of NGOs and others in the other countries. We collected historical women and also contemporary women. For example, we have in Ulm our most famous women. Maybe you have heard about the White Rose. It's Sophie Scholl and her brother. She was fighting against the Nazi regime. And after presenting the book, we had several exhibitions. We had an exhibition in Ulm during the Danube Festival. We had an exhibition in Regensburg. And later on, we also had exhibitions in Timișoara and in Novi Sad. I really was happy that we could realize this with the help of the Baden-Württemberg Foundation and the Ministry of Culture of Baden-Württemberg. Yeah, and what we wanted at the end is to give more visibility to these women, that not only people who can go to the exhibition can see it. We developed the idea of a storytelling. Storytelling is a kind of website where you can click through like a book, and you can see several steps like a chapter, and you can learn something about these women in this storytelling. And if you want, I can show you now parts of this storytelling, and I hope you enjoy this. We have also a website. I can also share the link in the chat. And here you can see now our page of the storytelling. it starts here at the beginning of the river Danube, and it goes through all these towns, Ulm, Regensburg, Linz, Vienna, Budapest. In the book, we have 5 women's per city, but in the storytelling, we only could choose 2 because it would be too much. And I will just show you a part of it from Ulm. I told you about Sophie Scholl. She's really famous in our country. And I can show here is a starting page of Ulm. You have here our city hall, our Ulmer Münster, and the nice illustrations did a Serbian young artist. She was working for us with the book and for the exhibition. And here you can see the side of Sophie Scholl. She was murdered by the guillotine after she and her brother have thrown out leaflets against the Nazi regime in the University of Munich. But first, she was member of the Hitler Youth because it was normal in these times. But later on, she had a boyfriend. He went to the border to the war, and her father got problems because he was critical about the system, and so she was more doubtful about the regime of Hitler and fight it against this. And at the end, she lost her life. And this is a symbol of the doves of the peace. We wanted to show in the storytelling that she was really a strong woman, and that she fighted against this horrible system. And here you can see the house where the family of Sophie Scholl lived in Ulm. We made a short video to show this. There's a small exhibition in this house. And a few years ago, there was the birthday, 100th birthday of Sophie Scholl, and we put on some posters on the building to remember her. And I want to show you one other interesting woman in Novi Sad. Maybe it relates good to the STEM topic of Dana. She showed us before, because Mileva Maric in Novi Sad, she was the wife of Albert Einstein, and Albert Einstein is born in Ulm, so we have a relationship between Novi Sad and Ulm also to the topic of Mileva Maric Einstein, and she was really a talented pupil, and her father supported her, and so she was able to go to university to Zurich to study physics and mathematics in 1896, which was really amazing that this was possible for her. She was the 5th woman who could go there to study, and this is the house where she is born, her family house. And this is an illustration of the university, Technical University in Zurich. And there she got to know Mr. Einstein. He was studying with her. She was 17 and he was...
Sabine, we just see the legacy of Sophie Scholl. I don't know if it's right or if something is not functioning.
Should I start again, maybe?
Yes, I think, yes.
Can you see now the map?
No?
Not. So I will stop the and we'll start again.
Mhm.
Now you should see the map again.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, okay. Then I go to Novi Sad.
Mhm. Yes, we see
Now it
Mileva
works.
Maric.
Okay.
Mhm.
This again the illustration of Natalia, and here a photo of Mileva Maric. She was enthusiastic about natural science, and her father supported her, and also she was helping writing papers with Albert Einstein. Her name was never mentioned there. And here you can see the house where she is born in Novi Sad. They wanted to make a museum out of this, but I'm not sure if it's realized until now. But it was in discussion. No. And here's the illustration of the Technical University in Zurich, where she was studying and where she get to know Albert Einstein. He was 17 and she was 20. They studied together and they discussed together days and nights. And at the beginning of their reliance, they were gleichberechtigt. I don't know in English. But later on, it changed. She was taking care of the children, and he was making his career. So it was really an interesting story about her. And at the end, they got divorced, and she was staying in Zurich, and he made his career all over the world. Now I go back to the map. Can you see the map now?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe one contemporary woman at the end, because I cannot show all the women who are really interesting to watch their stories and to get to know them. I would choose one young lady from Budapest. She is working with Roma children, and I really like her for her engagement. She is called Silvia Zenashi.
My name is Silvia Szénási. I am coming from a Roma musician Hungarian family, and I am working at UCU Roma Informal Educational Foundation as a leader since 2016.
What are your goals in the next few years?
I would like to do more activity with our foundation and more educational methodology. And also it would be great to bring closer the Romani culture to the majority, not just with students and teachers, but also the people who are living here in Hungary. Okay. It would be great.
Mm-hmm. What means UCU?
Yes, so we have a long name, UCU Roma Informal Educational Foundation, and we have a really short name, UCU Foundation, and UCU means let's go, we have to do something.
Okay.
This is just a short insight of the storytelling, and we wanted to encourage young women to go their ways, to develop their lives in the time they have. And if you have questions, you can ask me. The storytelling is one tool I really like because it makes the stories more visible and you can watch it everywhere.
Thank you, Sabine. It was really interesting. It was interesting for the women you presented, but also interesting for the storytelling tool you used. So
Thank you.
perhaps you can close your screen and then we are all together and the floor is open to questions to Sabine or to remarks.
I was wanting to ask you if you, so you have done this book, so it's a text. Do you, with your videos, do you follow all the texts or how did you proceed? Did you make a selection of narratives or?
The women in the book were selected from our partners in the countries. In Timișoara, we had a partner. In Novi Sad, we had a partner. It was a journalist school, for example, in Novi Sad. They choose the women. They helped us with the texts. And my task was to make the concept, to make the layout and to organize all this around. So it's not my own work. It's a cooperation, the book.
Yeah.
Yes, but I think it was also the question, the selection of the parts of your book, how to say, your book presentation in the video. This was your question, Dušana?
Yeah.
Why we choose these women? Or
Wie habt ihr praktisch ausgewählt, aus dem, was ihr am Text habt, nachher ins Video zu bringen?
Yeah, this was of course difficult because I think most of the women are really interesting in the book, and I would have preferred to show all women, but then I have a really long storytelling. It takes hours to watch it, and we didn't have the financial resources to make such a long storytelling about all women. So we choose one contemporary woman of the city and one historical of a city.
Did you make scripts for this video?
Yes, I was working together with a journalist. She helped me with the final texts because it's important if you create a storytelling that you have short, significant texts. And I'm not a journalist, I'm not a writer, I'm more a visual worker. So I was really thankful that Raina, she is a journalist with Bulgarian roots. She helped me with the texts.
Was learning.
Yeah.
Other questions or remarks? I think a big challenge had been really to choose the persons you will present, because in 95 I started a project, an online project with an international online project about women who erased and who marked our way of life in the last century. And we found so a lot of very interesting women, really. And we discovered a lot of women we didn't know about. And so it's a very important work. And I would like to ask you others, do you know about your, how to say, your women, your strong women in your countries? Have you some presentation? Do you know some online website? Is this a theme of interest for you? What's about Serbia?
Well, I just think about one of the most famous, powerful women is Mileva Marić Einstein. So last year we visited one of the museum for art, where is present, and that is also the house of Mirjana Petrović Barili. Milena Pavlović, sorry. Milena Pavlović Barili. She was the creator and the artist, and she was the first woman from the Serbia who was on the um, main page of the Vogue magazine. So it was really interesting, and I didn't have so much information about it till I come to the city of Požarevac, where she was born, and she lived there for some time. So she was one of the many women in Serbia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And have you another example or proposal? From your country?
Germany, I can a little speak about yesterday. We have a art hall here in Rostock. And yesterday was a presentation from Katie Dean Bitt. She is a painting woman, lived from 1900 to 1978. She was, it is today everyone. The women in the art have not easy. In the old time and in the new time, it is also. The war, the second war, was a problematic life for all and for the painter or for the Künstler sowieso. And yesterday we had a curatorin from Ukraine. She lives here in Rostock in the art hall 2 years and speak wonderful German and presentation this woman in Germany, and she is a presented himself her way to Ukraine to Rostock. It was interesting 80 March for me.
Thank you, Barbara. And perhaps you can write the name in the chat so that perhaps some of us can make also have a look in Wikipedia or in other pages to discover more about them.
Yes, I will do it.
Thank you. Dana, there is existing some research about strong women in STEM.
Yes, of course. There are some, how to say, special women in STEM, in mathematics, but I think that in medicine it's simpler to find a famous woman. It is Anna Aslan. I do not know if you know about her. It was she created, how to say, a line of geriatric procedures, and she was very famous in 60s, 70s, and many important people came to her hospitals, how to say, to be treated there. So it is, she is one of the most known women from science in Romania. Yes.
Anna Aslan.
Anna Aslan. I will write.
You will
Dana,
write it.
it is for materials Gera Gogi, Gero Vital, something like that.
Yes. This
Yeah, they are very good materials, really very good.
Yes, and she died.
For women.
Yes. There are more than 40 years she passed away. But the Genovital line it's also produced in Romania and is very famous. Yes.
So she was, how to say, successful not only in science but also in economy.
Yes. Yes.
And she was also involved a little bit in politics, if I remember well.
Yes.
And she met Adenauer a long time
You
ago.
cannot escape from this.
Yes, and
Yes.
she was also not famous, but she was known in Germany at that time. Thank you. But I'm sure there are also other scientists important to know. But I had a look some times ago in the Nobel Prize list about women, and it's terrible. Men, 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 women, men, 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 men. So perhaps we have to push a little bit to making seen such very interesting women in history, and as Sabine made it also with her colleagues to up to date. So
I hope it inspired you a bit.
Yes.
We have discovered some other Romanian strong women, but I can't remember the names, or the pronunciation is difficult for me. One was the first woman who graduated, I think, from the university, from the Faculty of Law in Paris, and she had really, like other women in Europe, she had real difficulties to enter the faculty, but she was very good. I will remember her name later. And there was the sportswoman, I also can't remember her name. The famous one who, I think she was involved in.
Maybe you are speaking about Nadia Comaneci. She's sportist.
Not Nadia Comaneci.
Very famous.
Yeah.
Nadia Comaneci. We know it. Carmen, this is very, how to say, good discussion. Is it possible to organize session just for women?
Yes,
For
you
every
remember.
country, one.
You remember that we made some game, the European soiree, and it was so really impressionating to see who was represented, and you made us known women from your countries, and we from Germany. We have never heard about, but in all our countries are existing this kind of women, and in earlier time, but also today, and perhaps we have to speak more about. But I think now Dushana will also present some strong women in the last presentation of today, but also a very interesting one, because she was a partner in a big Erasmus project, or it was Erasmus, I don't remember, but in an international project, and they also looked for. Up to you, Dushana. Dushana presented herself at the beginning. She's coming from Ljubljana. She's really a very famous person for adult education, not only in Slovenia, but in all Europe, working since a long time in this area, but always also with a strong view and a strong interest in women's question. Up to you, Dushana.
Yeah.
And Pari, please take the presentation of Dushana, and Dushana will indicate when you have to change the slide.
Thank you.
You find it? Yes. Fine. Yes, that's okay. Up to you, Dushana.
Yeah, so hello everybody again. The title of my presentation, as you can see, is Women Are Not Imperfect Men. Why such title? because women, as well as older people, are always, when they are talked about, they are always presented in relation to to some reference. For women, the reference are men, and for older people, the reference are young people. We have difficulties speaking about women and older people, addressing their true otherness. They are different. They have their different character and characteristics and so on. So that's why women are not imperfect men. And I remember here, maybe you remember as well, the film Bonne Année or Happy New Year. There was Lino Ventura talking to a lady, and the lady asked him, "What is a man in your eyes?" And he said, what is a woman in your eyes?" And he said, "It's a man who cries." So, the point of reference was man, and the woman is crying. That's why she's not completely perfect. Women are not imperfect men. Can you go on, please? Yeah, so the introduction is goes like, starts by a very popular saying in Slovenian language, which is used when women are among themselves and there are no men. And then John or Janus comes, and the reaction is they're a little bit embarrassed, and quite often they say, "Thank God, John, that you are with us, making us women human creatures, making us people." And this is a self-depreciating saying, and it's a sexist stereotype we should avoid. And I was wondering, are there any such sayings in your languages? Do women apologize to themselves for being just women with no men around? Yeah, no, you can't think of it. Yes, you're lucky. Dada, you're lucky, definitely. So my next question is, it comes from this project we had, True to Age, True to Gender. And yeah, you were talking about strong women. Does anybody know who Zora Janžeković is? I suppose you don't. I didn't know it when I discovered her. But she was a doctor. She was a medical doctor. She was a plastic surgeon, and she invented a method that is famous all over the world, and her name is in all medical manuals all over the world. She was a hard-working person, very committed. She also created a school for surgeons coming from the whole world and learning her method of treatment of people who are really badly burned. But she was considered as this not stupid, but the foolish woman behind the Iron Curtain. It was really looking down.
It's 20 hours.
Humiliating her. Or maybe the German, Louise Otto Peters. You probably know her if you are German, of course. If not, it's a little bit difficult. she was a feminist suffragette, and I think she belonged to the group of women who prepared the Constitution of Germany. Yeah, in our project True to Age, True to Gender, we worked a lot, of course, on the topic of the rights, and we wanted women to be right holders and to be recognized. And we have discovered, of course, what we had already known, that the rights are not stable, and especially in the times of crisis. And our time is the time of several parallel crises, which is perhaps new. And in these times, all these groups that are at the edge of society, that are not in the mainstream, are losing rights. You can see it, what the situation is as regards women and people who are handicapped and so on. So let's not talk about it, but the rights, once they are won, they have to be defended all the time. And my question is, are women visible enough in public life, or are they visible in the right way? Probably not, if those with a public name are often reduced to the image and price of their handbags, shoes, and clothes. I was not, I didn't notice it, but then we worked with some feminists from Zagreb, and they said that cameramen come to the parliament and they take shots of women starting from their shoes, going up, and they wouldn't do it for men. We don't know what kind of shoes men, parliamentarians, wear. And we don't know anything about the price of their outfit and so on. Yeah, and what we have discovered in our project is that the language, of course, influences women in their relationships. And from the times of this project, we are very careful to use the feminine names of professions, and that we always mention men and women. Sometimes it's difficult, of course, but we have to do it, and we have to do it consciously. Can you go on, please? We were interested in gender, of course, and we know that gender is social sex. Gender does not equate sex and our biological characteristics. And we argue that gender is constructed, and luckily what has been constructed can be deconstructed socially through education, through different events, through events like ours today, and so on. Men and women have this gender identity, but it is assigned to us. And women are supposed to be tender, and men are supposed to be courageous and not to cry. I would say that as a society, we describe women as beautiful, charming, delightful, intelligent, vivid, motherly, good wives, sometimes harsh, manipulative, or wicked. If they are angry, they are said to be hysterical. If they raise their voices, they are shrill, and so on. But men are powerful, legitimately, and they can have shrill voices and so on, and nobody would mention it. So, speaking about gender, which is conditioned by the culture, of course, and society, and the moment, and education, and so on, and also politics. But gender is not just about women. It is also, as we know, about men and women, and it is about their relationships. So when we approach this topic of gender, we are thinking about how to improve the relationships between the two sexes. Can we go on? Yeah. So let us go on. Yes, this is from our handbook, the different women, and we took their faces, their photos from another project. So we were lucky that the photos were professionally done. Can we go on, please? So these are the contents, and as you can see, the long march towards rights, equality, and European values was one of the modules. And we talked a lot about sexism and ageism and so on. Can you go back a little bit? 6. No, before that. Yeah. I'm sorry. The next one, maybe. Maybe the next one. No, you are going back now. Okay. Yeah. The one before. Yeah, and what was interesting for me in this project was the fact that for the first time, I started thinking about older people not as different older people with different stories and so on, but I started being interested in the gender capital our students bring into education. Because with education for older people with education for older women, we have to address their, what we call gender capital, their experiences as men or as women mostly. Okay, can you go on, please? Yeah, well, I belong to 2 cultures. One is Slovenian and the other one is it's really my culture. It's French. That's why I'm going to present shortly some French people, some French women, and some Slovenian women. Hélène Cixous, she wrote The Laugh of the Medusa. Hélène Cixous argues that women can read and choose to remain trapped in their own bodies, or they can move away from the dominant male discourse, which is found in patriarchal systems, and use their own female language to express themselves. We are not aware that we are using the concepts of men and the way of thinking recognized by men. We don't talk about who we are and about who we would like to become. Of course, we all know Simone de Beauvoir, who goes in the same direction as Hélène Cixous. And I was in my 20s when I met her. I was working in the French Cultural Center, and she came and she didn't say hello. She asked, "What is the position of women in your country?" And I said, it's very good. And because I really thought that everything was as it should be. I lived in a socialist country. Women were recognized on paper as being equal. There were, I don't know, kindergartens for in big factories, and so on and so on. And we were talking all the time about the equality of women. And I thought everything was okay. And I didn't realize that finally women were not involved in public life, that they were not involved in decision-making processes, and so on and so on. So Hélène Sixou, can we go on? Yeah, the next one, which is important in my eyes, but there are many other French women, strong women, as you say. Françoise Giroud. She was the first state secretary under Giscard d'Estaing, and she was, of course, interested in social equality and the visibility of women in society. And she created groups, thematic groups, and over 6 months, they studied the possible improvement of women's life. And they produced 100 measures for improving the conditions of women, only to realize that the government didn't spare any money for the problems of women, and it was impossible to put these measures into practice. Can we go on? Yeah, I would like to present Vida Tomšič. She was a lawyer, very much engaged in international women's rights movements. And of course, she was interested in the equality of women and men, which was following Clara Zetkin and also Lenin. I didn't know that the freedom to decide on the birth of children was for the first time in modern history drastically resolved by Lenin's 1920 decree allowing abortion on the request of the mother. She had an enormous political power, and in 1 year, this part of ex-Yugoslavia, Slovenia, got 30 new, very modern elementary schools and the same number of nursery homes. And her legacy is really important, but she was a revolutionary and we didn't want to know a lot about her. Can you go on to the last one? Yeah, I have chosen Nika Kovač. It's a young person. She's an anthropologist, and she founded the institute the 8th of March, and she united some 10 girls and many volunteers, and she co-organized the campaign My Voice, My Choice. It's about abortion, the right to abortion, and she launched this campaign all over Europe, and now she is I hope it's temporarily, she has become President Obama's consultant. So My Voice, My Choice for free abortion in all European countries and for free school canteens. And the Institute also launched a huge campaign for accessible drinkable water, and water has become a part of our constitution. So it's, shall we say, a little bit more protected. So these are some strong women from France and from Slovenia. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Dušana. You continue to present interesting aspects and especially women. And I think there would be a lot to discuss. Perhaps not this evening because we are late, but Emily asked if we make some other session about women, and I think we can do. And we have a lot to exchange about women we know and about women we don't know, but who had been very important in our history, in the national and also in the European history. Thank you very much. And I think it was a very interesting project. And at the end, I inserted the website from your project. I don't know if you have seen, perhaps you can write it once more in the chat, because I'm sure that a lot of us would be interested to have a look in.
Yeah,
Can you?
THG tag, true to age, true to gender, European project, Erasmus project.
But you will find it also on the Danube Networkers website, Danube EU, because we made some notice about this project. But thank you also to Barbara, who wrote in the chat the name and some informations about this artist. I suppose we have not known before. And I thank to all of you, and just to say that Rosemarie also shot a book, and is a book about her life and her experiences.
Oh.
And so you see it? Unruhestand. Unruhe. It is not to be in a rest, but unrestless, but not in a false sense. It's to be aware, to move, to be open. And thank you also for this, Rosemarie. And I'm sure that all had been inspired this evening, and perhaps especially the men. It was Klaus, now it's Francesco, it's Vojislav and Tomislav and so on, because I think if we have not been aware about the strong women's, men never learned to reflect about. So it's good to have information about. And perhaps we can collect also interesting internet sites. There are existing websites, but also presentations and so on, and open in Vima Danube interest group about strong women in the past and up to date. So thank you very much. It's late now, but I think it was so interesting that it's not the feeling of being late, but it's quite late. So have a good evening, a good Sunday evening. Have a good new week, and we will see us again in, I don't know exactly today, but we will write you and inform you what we are doing the next time. Bye-bye, and thank you very much. Thank you all the translators.
Bye-bye.
I hope, Svetla, it was not too quick today. I know that it's always a big work you are doing, because you are not the professor for simultaneous translation, but you are very open and very interested. Thanks to Svetla, to Selina, to Ottilia, and to Katarina, even if today she had not translated, but she is doing it often. So thank you very much. Thank you for all actors. Thank you. Thanks to Pari, and see you soon.
Thank you,
Bye,
Carmen.
bye, bye.
Thank you very much, Carmen.